global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome to Global Happenings. Today we have a trending news for you, and the topic reads: Presidency calls for Senator Abaribe's imprisonment. See details. But before we go into the news proper and further analysis, would you like you to subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button below? Beside it, you'll see a bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel. Alright, let's go straight into the news of the day. The presidency has attacked Senator Naya Abaribe, who represents Abia South at the Senate, for calling on President Muhammadu Buhari to resign. Mr. Abaribe, while making his contribution bordering on challenges of national security at the floor of the Red Chamber on Wednesday, called on the president to relinquish his office, having failed to tackle insecurity bedeviling the country. The nation has witnessed a spike in criminal activities ranging from kidnappings to farmers and herders clashes, terrorist attacks, and so on and so forth. But responding, presidential spokesman Garba Shehu said if the president should resign over insecurity, then the lawmaker should be in prison, having failed to produce Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, in court. Mr. Abaribe, alongside two others, stood as surety for Mr. Kanu when the latter was granted bail. The IPOB leader, charged for treason, has jumped bail and currently out of the country. If a leader like President Buhari needs to resign, there are millions of other Nigerians who need to resign, including Senator Abaribe, who unlocked the door to enable the escape of a treacherous and treasonable suspects like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Mr. Shehu Garba said in a statement. This is a man who should have replaced the suspect he failed to produce in the correctional facility. Abaribe's party raped the nation and left it collapsing in 2015. And President Buhari is fixing things up all these years he is in the office. The statement partly reads, Mr. Shehu, who said the resignation call does not represent the opinion of those who re-elected his principal for another term of 4 years, claimed only President Buhari can stop the insecurity going on. President Buhari is working hard to keep Nigeria and Nigerians out of harm's way and out of harm. Terrorists have unleashed in the entire Sahel and Sub-Saharan Africa. With the support of Nigerians and our foreign friends, he's going to finish off these terrorists. He alone can do it, he said. Well, you guys have heard what Shehu Garba said, that it's only President Muhammadu Buhari that have sole power to eradicate terrorism in Nigeria. He has the sole power, sole might to make sure Nigeria stays in peace. But that's how feelers of what Nigerians are saying concerning what he has said. Let's just take one or two statements. One person said, why would he go to jail for somebody's crime? Another person said, they know each other very well. Let Abaribe ask this your question. One another person said, all of them now want APC now use prison as a threat to any sensed opposition. Nigeria needs abundant grace to overcome these guys. God's grace is sufficient. Another person said, he's a senator and is raising a question that concerns people. I'm not expecting a smart response from the presidency. However, I am not surprised. Okay, let's stop there. Let's and go into analysis into this matter, this critical matter. When we had this issue where Abaribe, took the bulls by the horns and called out the presidency to resign, I knew, this particular regime we are in has been a case of frowning very seriously at criticism, whether constructive or destructive. They don't even like criticism. When we talk about his speech, the other time somebody said something about, when I watched the video where Lawan, that's president of Senate, said when Lawan said that what Abaribe was saying was hate speech, that he should retrieve the statement. I smiled because that's what we call hate speech, that someone took his time, explained why the presidency should resign, because it looks like this whole terrorism thing, insecurity thing is overwhelming him. He has probably lost an idea, has lost count. He doesn't even know what to do anymore. He's still using the same square pegs and round hole and expecting a different result. And all of a sudden, he said that he's actually surprised. Despite all his effort, he cannot see, instead of terrorism reducing, it's becoming on the hike, which means the call for Abaribe's call to tell the president to resign is in place. And the next thing I knew they were going to come for him, because in this dispensation, you don't criticize the government of the day and go scot-free. It becomes hate speech. And that was why when they started advocating for this issue of hate speech, I was scared, because hate speech is going to be those who dares to criticize them, either constructive or otherwise. Yes, it's going to be hate speech. It's going to be termed as hate speech, and you may likely go to jail, probably dead by hanging. So it's not going to be fair, which means you're going into full-blown tyranny. And now they're even against any form of opposition. Abaribe made mention of some certain key issues that I would like to address, and which Loretta took personal. They said it. Even what's his name? Erufai said it, that look, when they called for the resignation of Jonathan Goodluck some years back when he was still the president, they told him, look, this so-called issue of security, you can't handle it. It's not bad for you to resign. It's not a bad idea for there to be a call for the presidency to resign. Karma has the way of serving itself, to those who don't expect it. Just barely 6-7 years down the line, we're saying the same thing to President Muhammad Buhari, the same person they wanted to force on Nigerians, and now you're saying the same thing to him. Everybody's getting angry. Why should everybody be angry? Why should some set up? Not everybody, because me, I'm not angry. I'm very happy over the call for him to resign. Things are not working well. How can I be a Nigerian and I'll be suffering in my own country? And you say you talk, you die. You don't talk, you die. So you don't talk. Abaribe took the bull, but Abaribe, so this one that is saying that Igbo group, audio group somewhere is shouting. It's a normal thing now in Nigeria that anytime opposition speaks the truth, criticizes them, they just go and produce one audio group somewhere and say Igbo group. Where is the Igbo group that says they want Abaribe to apologize? What? Mr. Senator, we're all behind you. The only thing is that maybe, we don't know if they would, Nigeria these days, because of the way they're even encouraging the terrorism itself, we don't even know how security issues over. I pray that the good Lord will keep you. But the truth be told, you spoke the mind of many Nigerians. The audio group does not exist anywhere. Maybe one of the videos you're going to see where the audio group started saying that Abaribe should tender an apology and resign. All those I know it was all audio group. But let's say the truth the way it is. The same dispensation, APC dispensation, told us in 2015. Yeah, 2015. That look, if they don't deliver within a specific period of time, we should stone them. Abaribe mentioned it. He said you gave Nigerians assurance that look, if we don't deliver as a specific period of time, take stones and stones. Abaribe just doing a refresher on them. He giving them refreshing their memory. Look at the promises given to Nigerians. So it's not bad, it's not out of line if Nigerians begin to carry stones and stone you. And Loretta called him all manner of names. So uncultured, permit me to say. A woman handling such professional, sensitive position should not be using gutter language. The other time, to show Gaba was seen also using gutter language. Foolish, really? Gutter language for a man of that magnitude? Please, cut me some slack. But then, these are things we're talking about. When you begin to put the wrong persons, they criticize you, and you take to your Twitter handle, take to your social media handle, and you begin to pull out all manner from your mouth, and you don't take criticism in good faith. It's wrong. I knew that they were going to call out for Abaribe to being the fact that he signed for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Don't forget, that's shorty for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Don't forget that further recently the presidency said this issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that they should retrieve this issue of bail self for him, that they should, anywhere they cite him in Nigeria, they should arrest him. Which means by default, based on their statement, then Abaribe is free from shorty. Yes. If you say that all this issue of bail and all that, meeting of bail term and all that is now retrieved, that anywhere they see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they should arrest him on site in Nigeria, then that means the likes of Abaribe and those who shorted him are free as accused. So is it because he said something against the presidency, and that's why you must remind him that he was a shorty, he signed a shorty for? No, please. Let's learn to take criticism in good faith. But then this is where we are. This is Nigeria. If you speak negatively, they begin to rope something on him. But that's one person that's quite very bold. I pray that more allegations will keep coming. But based on what Tr0uble said, I believe that he had already shot himself in the leg, because just fairly recently he had told the media and every other person who cares to listen that anywhere they said Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, probably they are expecting him to come for his parents' burial, that they should arrest him on site, which means that bail issue is now null and void. And that also makes the shorty that Senator Abaribe said becomes null and void. So this issue of arresting him because he said something that millions of Nigerians will be angling to say, please, we shouldn't be doing this. We are bigger than this. And that seat of media spokesperson is not a small seat where you begin to open your mouth and begin to spool out things you ought not to. Simply because someone corrects you, you are now desiring him to go to prison because of one bill that was jumped. Is he the one that committed the crime? Okay, let's assume that based on the law, that's what is expected of him. But still the same presidency went out and said, look, this issue of bill has been cancelled. Anyway, you see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, arrest him. That also nullifies his shorty. I don't see any harms will coming his way. You yourself have decided not to. You have decided not to honor your part in the bail term. So his also is void. His own signing is also void. But that's my view on this. I don't know your view on this. Please, let's go to meet. Let's meet ourselves. Let's meet in the comment section below. Let's interact. What do you think about this whole issue of because Abaribe said the presidency should resign if you can't tackle the issue of insecurity? That then they quickly reminded him that he's the shorty of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He should also, if presidency is to resign, then he should be in prison. He should resign and go to prison and replace Mazi Nnamdi Kanu over him signing as shorty for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and all that, called more manner of names. But that's where we're going to round up. Let's